Senator from West Virginia is recognized.
Madam President, my dear friend from Wyoming, we agree on a lot of things. We just happen to see this one different. We disagree. And I rise in support of the motion to invoke cloture on the nomination of Tracy Stone-Manning to be the Director of the Bureau of Land Management. I do so after giving very, very, very careful consideration to the serious, and I mean serious allegations that many of our colleagues have leveled against her. If there were any truth, a shred of truth, or evidence to support the charges, I wouldn't be standing here. I couldn't support her. But I've found no such evidence, and I've looked. Now, I've said this, every one of us, we're entitled to our own opinion here. And we're not bashful to sharing that opinion with others. We're just not entitled to create our own facts to support our opinions. That's it. And all I'm asking for, let's look at the facts. That's all. The facts surrounding the spiking of the trees in the Clearwater National Forest in March of 1989 are all known. It's public. They are known because the facts were tried by a jury in a federal district court in Spokane, Washington in June of 1993. I still believe we all believe that rule of law applies to all of us. And that's who we are. Trial by jury is how we find facts and discover the truth in this country. That's it. It is the keystone in our criminal justice system. A jury heard the evidence in the tree spiking case. They weighed its credibility and reached a unanimous verdict that 4 men spiked the trees. I repeat, 4 men spiked the trees in the Clearwater National Forest. All 4 of them admitted that they spiked trees. All 4 of them admitted that they spiked these trees. And each identified the other 3 as their accomplice. Each one identified the other. And you know what? Ms. Stone-Manning was not one of them. None of the 4 said she was. Opponents of her nomination are now seeking to impute the guilt of the confessed and convicted tree spikers to her. But Ms. Stone-Manning was never charged with tree spiking. She was never indicted or tried. There is no evidence in the trial record that she participated in the tree spiking. Her opponents claim that is because she was given immunity for her testimony. I've heard that, so I want to investigate that. But while the federal prosecutor agreed not to use her testimony against her, she still could have been prosecuted if there was any other evidence against her. If there was any evidence against her, she could have been prosecuted. But there wasn't, and no charges were ever brought against her. None. Finally, opponents of Ms. Stone-Manning's nomination accused her of lying to the Committee on Energy and Natural Resources, which is the committee that I do chair, and the committee, Madam President, that you sat on with us so honorably, on her committee questionnaire. They said she lied to us. As the chairman of that committee, I took that allegation seriously. I wanted to find out, did she lie to us or not? Each nominee that comes before the Committee on Energy and Natural Resources is asked whether he or she has ever been investigated, arrested, or charged with a violation of law. Ms. Stone-Manning responded, no, I have never been arrested or charged, and to my knowledge, I have never been the target of such an investigation. She then went on to disclose that she testified before a federal grand jury as part of a tree spiking investigation in 1989 and later testified at the tree spiking trial. This allegation seems to be that her response was false and misleading because she was subpoenaed, because she was asked to come and testify, and had been required to give fingerprints and hair samples to the grand jury investigating the tree spiking in 1989. Being required to testify or give physical evidence to a grand jury does not make someone the target of a grand jury investigation. It just doesn't. And again, I go back to the rule of law, which is unique in this world today, that we are still able to treat everybody as innocent until proven guilty. And there was no evidence, and she was not involved. The Justice Department defines a target as someone the grand jury is considering indicting. That's the target. They're considering to go after you. The federal prosecutor in the case asked the Forest Service's criminal investigator. They asked the criminal investigator whether the investigation in 1989 had identified possibly anyone as a subject in the investigation. The Forest Service investigator replied under oath, I repeat, under oath, no. Nope, didn't happen. She could not have been a target of an investigation that had not identified her or anyone else as a subject. Her response is further corroborated by recent comments in the press made by the former Assistant United States Attorney who prosecuted this trial. You being a prosecutor, Madam President, understands. They prosecuted the tree spiking case. This is the person who did that, who confirmed that Miss Stone-Manning was not a target of the investigation in 1993. He confirmed that. In sum, I am unable to find any credible evidence in the exhausted trial record of the tree spiking case that supports the allegations levied against Miss Stone-Manning. What I find instead in the committee's hearing record on her nomination is compelling evidence that Miss Stone-Manning has built a solid reputation over the past 3 decades as a dedicated public servant and someone who has worked with one of our colleagues, a dear friend of ours from Montana, who's about to say what he believes in his heart and he knows as that person's credibility. As a problem solver, she has been, and as a consensus builder. She faithfully served Senator Tester for 5 years in positions of trust and responsibility on his staff. She went on to serve Governor Bullock of Montana for 2 years as a director of Montana's Department of Environmental Quality, and 2 more as Governor Bullock's chief of staff. That is the evidence on which I will base my vote to support, and I would encourage every one of my colleagues to do the same. This is a person that basically is giving herself to public service. This is a person as a youth that basically in her compassion and all of the things that she might have believed does not make her guilty. And this is a person who basically deserves an opportunity to be able to serve all of us in America with her knowledge, her desire, and her absolute unwavering dedication to the outdoors and everything that we hold near and dear. I just want to say that we're not here to prosecute people. That's not our job. We're not here to pass judgment, basically once judgment's already passed, and basically regurgitate something that's not credible. So I say again, you're entitled. You're truly entitled to your own opinion. You really are. But before you pass judgment, look at the facts. Because it could be you, could be me. And that's not going to happen. So with that, I urge my friends, I urge all of them to please. John Adams, the first person to preside over the Senate, said that facts are stubborn things, and whatever may be our wishes, our inclinations, or the dictates of our passion, they cannot alter the state of facts and evidence. They cannot. So let us have our partisan passions aside, put them aside, and look at the facts. Let's vote to confirm Ms. Stone-Manning's nomination. Thank you, Madam President, and I yield the floor.